Good morning to all of you. Today I am going to discuss about some important content from your subject. We all know that your examination is going to be start very soon. So I think all of you are preparing well. So I just want to go through some important tips from every chapter. So beginning with the first chapter, that is sequential circuit. So from here you will get a 7 marks full question, 7 marks question, straight question. So the explanation of the working principle of JK flip flop or any register or any counter, BCD counter. So, whatever you get, any question like this, so keep one thing in your mind that you have to explain the whole diagram, and whatever it is mentioned or not, you have to draw the diagram or you have to add the diagram in your answer sheet, because circuit theory or circuit chapter is incomplete without the diagram. So if you get write down the working principle of the JK flip flop or master slave flip flop, so I will suggest you, please draw the circuit diagram of master slave flip flop or your JK flip flop. If you get only if you get the question like this, that the working principle of JK flip flop or working principle of master slave flip flop or NOT gate or NAND gate based latch or flip flop. So diagram is important. First thing. Secondly, uh, like any kind of working principle of any latch, register or counter, mainly from register or counter, please add the concept of timing diagram in your answer, because timing diagram is very important. But keep one thing in your mind: if you are confident about the timing diagram and it is not mentioned in question paper, then you can discard it. Okay, it is good if you add it, but if you are not confident about it, then don't add it. But I will suggest you to put it in your answer sheet. So from first chapter, timing diagram, the circuit diagram and the explanation, these three things are important, and these three things you have to add in your answer. Now for second chapter, that is networking. For networking part also I will suggest like packet search switching or the component of the networking, the guided media or unguided media, or your unshielded copper wire, shielded copper wire, this kind of UTP, STP. If you get this kind of question, or your function of DNS or the IP address concept, please try to frame a small diagram, because networking chapter is also incomplete with the proper diagram, because somehow if you are not able to explain properly in your answer sheet, your writing is something is missing. So please put that diagram, at least it will explain more than your writing. So please put the diagram for some of the question, like packet switching, circuit switching, the how to TCP IP works, UDP works. So this kind of, for this kind of question, your diagram is important. So from networking, and I will tell you and I will suggest you, please go through the book properly for the MCQ and ACQ. Okay, for MCQ and ACQ, please go through the questions properly. And in HTML part, the tags and their functioning are important. You will not get any kind of program writing on HTML or HTML page designing. Just only your concept of, because the HTML programming are important for computer application, not for computer science. For computer science, HTML tag and their functioning are important for SAQ and MCQ type of questions. Now, coming to the third chapter, that is based on the database structure, database, relational algebra, database models, and SQL. For relational algebra and SQL, you have to know the proper structure, proper operator. Okay, projection operator, selection operator. If we want to retrieve the row value, which operator we have to use. If we want to retrieve the column value, which operator we have to use. So you have to be very much very much related to, you have to be more confident about this kind of operator. Okay, for the SQL I will also suggest same thing. For SQL part also, you have to go through the proper operators like queries. Okay, so where you will use select query, when we will use where we need to put where we need not to put where. Okay, the having clause, group by clause, how you will join two relations in SQL and also for relational algebra. Okay, so what is relation, what is attribute, what is tuple, the concept of domain. These are small important questions for SEQ and the MCQ. So you have to go through these small questions for MCQ and SEQ. For the broad questions, you have to go through the 3 schema architecture. One thing I will also suggest you, please draw that diagram for 3 schema architecture. 3 schema architecture is one of the important question from DBMS. So please put 3 schema architecture concept, architecture diagram in your answer. Okay, so these are the important part, 3 schema architecture, and there you will get the SQL and relational algebra using relations. Okay, using cross product, natural join, cross join. These all are the important part from SQL and relational algebra, and your 7 marks broad question will come from this part. Okay, relational algebra, SQL, and the relational models. Okay, so three chapters are important for the broad question. Now coming to the concept of C++ and the data structure in C. From data structure in C, you have to go through the algorithms from stack, queue, and linked list. From linked list, you have adding or inserting a node at the beginning or at the end or in mid any position. For stack and queue, push and pop algorithm from stack. From queue, you have addition and deletion from rear and front position. These 3 parts are important, and mostly the algorithms part will come for 7 marks question from the chapter data structure in C. Now another chapter that is important, that is C++. Okay, that is object oriented programming language. For that reason 7 marks question will come from programming. Okay, only the programming will come from 7 marks from C++ chapter. And for ECQ and MCQ part, you have to prepare the concept of constructor, destructor, okay, and the concept of object, class, and the properties of object oriented language. That means inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and the last one is encapsulation. Okay, so these 4 properties are there. You have to ask to mention any 2 properties. But if you get any kind of broad question or subjective questions from these from this chapter based on the properties of C++, you have to explain each and every properties with real life examples that I have discussed in class already. So you have to mention the properties with real life examples, and the concept of the constructor and destructor, the differences can be come for 2 marks or 3 marks in your subjective section. So these are the chapter, these are the important tips that you have to remember while you are preparing for the examination. Okay, So I hope you are preparing well, and if you have any kind of doubt and if you have any query, please ask me, obviously before your exam. Okay, so all the best. Thank you.